Hi again, beautiful humans. I finished up for now at my friend's house. It was getting really hot in her backyard, which is on the west. So I've decided to come to a little Parkette, which is in an old neighborhood not so far away from where she lives. It's only about a quarter of a block in size, and it has a couple of benches and some old trees, and so it's shady, if nothing else. So I will get back to you at the first plug. True to form, my first plug is hardware. I hope for something a little better than this. I'm having trouble ground balancing in this location, so iron is sounding better than it ought to. Now I'm pretty close to a busy street here. This little Parkette is sort of on the corner of two streets. So I guess it shouldn't surprise me if I find a piece of car branding. Now, I might be wrong, but that looks like the F from Ford. So I'm not sure whether this is a key tag or whether it's a piece of branding off the back of a car. Anyway, it's a relic. I'm glad to have it. It's got some numbers on it, too. Maybe it's the VIN plate. I'll clean it up at home and let you know. This is my day for pennies. It's a 1992 Jubilee penny. Still copper. Funny how one side always fares better than the other. I suppose that's the side that's down and not getting all the soil chemicals leaching onto it. This is more like it. 1966. At the roots of this big tree. Now we're talking about the time period that has silver in it. It's very noisy here. I'm right beside the road. It's hard to hear the signals, but I heard this one, thankfully. Oldest coin today, 1966 penny. And back to the 1980s. Here's a 1983 penny. I'm still at the base of this same tree. I'm still among the roots of this tree, working my way around it. I just popped a 1962 penny. Look at the clarity of that. I am thrilled. Good day to you, Mom. The first portrait of the Queen. This is a pretty exciting signal considering I just dug a 1962 penny. I'm in the mid-80s, both directions. Four inches in these roots. That might not be an easy live dig, but I'm going to try it, friends. This might be my first silver. I've marked the spot with my digger. Let's see. Well, the pinpointer says nothing, so here we go. I'm going to open the plug and get back to you. Okay, I've opened the plug, and my pinpointer has found something. using the towel technique so that I leave this park looking grand. I was speaking with a neighbor. He leaned over the fence and asked me what I was finding. Very friendly chap. And if he thinks about it, I want him to know that I leave places exactly as I find them. Okay, it's getting deeper. I think I'm going to put you down so I can dig more effectively. Well, I guess I need to go by the name of No Silver Antie because no silver for me. I have no idea what this is. It's a big nut of some kind. It's heavy. It's probably brass. No idea what that is. I'll clean it up when I get home. Not silver. This sounded like a penny, but it's actually a 1991 dime. Not too deep. About 3 inches. My first Roman artifact of the day. The common tabulus pullus. There's a lot of interference here from the power lines. This didn't sound like a quarter to me, but by golly, there it is. It's a 1977. Toned very dark. I'll take it. This wasn't so far from that 77 quarter. It's a very nice 1974 copper penny. I love the way these old pennies hold their detail. Penny Queen strikes again. 1982 copper, and didn't I ding it with a shovel? Arg. This was a really messy signal here at the base of this tree. I ended up just kind of creeping about with my pinpointer, and I managed to get what I think is all of it. There's 2 lumps of foil, an old rusty nail, a chunk of flat iron of some kind. Don't know what that was from. It looks curved. Don't know. And a coin. It is a penny. It's a copper penny. It's an Elizabeth copper penny. I believe it's the second portrait. Don't you love my gloves here? That's all you're getting to see. I can't see a date. Hang on. It's a 1988. 1988 copper. Oh, it's got some real green on it too. Looked way older when I pulled it out of the hole. I'm about 2 feet away from where I found that last penny, and here is a looks like a 1993. The third portrait of the Queen. Yes, it must be in 1993, because in 1983 it was the second portrait. I nearly gave myself a conniption with this one. I thought it said 1931, but it's 1981. And here's the Queen to prove it. Had it been 1931, it would have been, wow, would it have been George the Fifth or George the Sixth? I'm not certain. 1981 copper. I'll take it. Still in the 80s. Here's a 1982. What is it with me and pennies? I have dubbed myself Penny Queen. I think I'm going to get t-shirts made up saying Penny Queen strikes again. This signal was jumping all over the place. But it sounded, I don't know how to put it. It sounded kind of present, even though it was really jumpy and weird. So I dug it, and it's a 1980s model dime. I'm going to put it on the ground and run the coil over it and see what it actually rings up. $75, $85, $12, $17. How weird is that? Of course it's a Canadian copper penny. I dig nothing else. 1981. And I think I scratched it with a shovel. Look. Boo. Well, this is one for the books. I think it's a big nut off a hydro cable. Crazy. You can hear my machine chattering. There's power lines right above me. But look, you'd never know I dug a plug. I'm very proud of that. Somebody has inscribed the curb with 1959. You'd think there'd be some silver here, but I haven't found any. Maybe this part has been hit before. There's very little clad. Not much trash. But I found a ton of pennies. Well, I'll just have to wait for my first silver. I'd like to get my first silver before my anniversary of metal detecting, which comes in the middle of July. Well, I'm back in the car now, and you can see by my shiny face that it's plenty hot outside. I am really, really thirsty, and it is supper time, so I'm going to stop and go home. Thanks for coming along. I'll meet you again at the wrap-up. Hello again, beautiful humans, and welcome to the roundup of my hunt in the little triangular parkette at the corner of two streets. I found some surface trash. I won't inflict it upon you, except for this piece, which appears to be a sanding disc from a grinder. That makes sense to me because the man next door who spoke to me over the hedge was using a metal grinder at the time. So this is probably his, and it probably blew over the fence in a high wind. As far as the metal stuff goes, well, this huge piece of foil, paper-backed foil, which I think is probably somebody's sandwich wrapper, was just under the grass, and it gave me an overload signal that nearly blew my ears off. A couple other wads of foil, and this that looks like a flattened soup can, that was literally on the surface, so I'm thinking that might have blown out of somebody's recycle box. Found some wire, the big and the little. Various pieces of rusted iron, including this tiny scrap, which, look at that, it's a wee nail, but it's so thin. I had to chase that. I wasn't sure what I was looking for. The split washer, that piece of cast iron, no idea what that would be from. This is a piece of iron or steel strapping. I couldn't see any writing on it, but obviously it nailed onto something. 1.5 pull tabs. This one was naughty. It gave me a very weird signal, which fooled me into thinking I was after something good. And I thought this was can slaw, but I think it's something else. I think it's a piece of cladding or something from window. And then this bad boy, which I believe to be like a wire tensioning turnbuckle or something for the hydro lines. I stuck my magnet on various places, and the post is iron. The wire is copper, and the business part of it is brass. This, I don't know what it is, but my goodness, isn't it shiny? So that was under the ground a couple of inches. It was certainly a big signal. I didn't know what I was after. Very interesting. And continuing with some interesting stuff. These sure aren't metal. These were on the surface. I guess these are some kind of candy candy holders, or perhaps some tasty powder like pixie sticks. The little strawberry didn't fare very well. I think it got into a fight with the lawnmower. And the orange has a funny face. Aren't you funny? See what I did there? Yes, it's a laugh a minute here at Antie's Adventure Assortment. And now that I look at it, the little strawberry has a face too, but oh my goodness, he's been crushed in. Those might have a little vacation in the sanctuary for abandoned toys. Even though technically they're not toys, but they're just, I find them so appealing. Here's a piece of aluminum that had some paint on it. I don't have any idea what that would have been. Perhaps some trim from a car or something. Here we have a little something that used to be chromed or plated in some way. It's just pot metal. It just looks to me as though it was part of a toy or some kind of die-cast something. Could it have been the trunk of a toy car? Don't know. And this little tag, that script F, and I don't know if you can see, there's also an O beside it. That looks like Ford to me. I couldn't read it all, but it says for something or reg, so I want to suggest that might be registration. 7B 22C 5341 57. And down here we've got, it looks like 2B. I'm thinking that might be the VIN plate, the vehicle identification number plate for an old car. If you know, let me know. And this beauty, this was my silver that wasn't. It rang up resolutely at 85, 86, 87 in both directions. It's a big brass cap. It's a big brass cap off something. It has that rather elegant thread. I couldn't see anything written on it, but it has considerable heft. This is from a time when things, very utilitarian things, were made of brass. Nowadays, no doubt, this cap would be made out of PVC or something. This is why I love history. It has such substance. I don't know what this is from. If you know, please help me out. Comment below. And I found coins. 1977 quarter, which is in lovely condition, but has this very dark toning on it. 1996 dime, which has this crazy, almost rainbow toning. I don't know how well that's going to show up here. And a 1991 dime that looks like the blue nose is flying into a swarm of bees. The rest is pennies, all copper. This was penny day for me for sure. Penny Queen continues to reign. 1993, 92, 2 from 83, 2 from 82, an 81 and an 80. So I'm wondering who, if anyone, has already metal detected this area and why they don't like copper. 1974, and then bang, we're back into the 1960s. 1966. And the oldest Elizabeth coin I have yet dug is a 1962 penny. Look at the crispness of that. That penny is 58 years old and has spent considerable time under the ground. I'm very pleased with that coin. So thank you very much for joining me here on the wrap-up, and I will see you very soon. In the meantime, here's Auntie waving goodbye. Toodaloo.